Yesterday, I finally finished all the preparation that is needed for the allotment for this season. I know it's the end of June, but there was this one piece of ground that I just hadn't turned over, hadn't weeded it, and it had become a bit of a mess, a tidy mess, but it still needed to be turned over, and I needed it because I have some cabbages to go out and to be planted. And this year, it's the job which I actually love. I love digging. I love putting a fork into the ground, turning it over, and then pulling out all the weeds. And the weeds themselves have got their own characteristics. There's the couch grass, the white, quite big roots, and the mare's tail, which mare's tail is really correctly named because it is a mare. It's the roots look dead. You think, oh, I can leave them, but actually those dead roots will spring to life. And mare's tail is so persistent, so you have to pull out every little piece of it. And it's same with the couch grass as well. It's matted. And what I love about digging, and I often say it, is that I go down to the allotment not just to grow plants, not just to grow them and then eat them, but I go because it's an oasis of life. It's an oasis for me to just get grounded, just to have that time and place of peace where I can do things with my hands, where I can work out my life's problems. And unfortunately at the moment there's a few of them. And what I love about digging, and my phrase is, as I weed the ground, I weed my mind. As I pull out the roots from within the ground, I pull out these weeds in my head, those matted, knotted thoughts which, rather than giving me life, cage me in, make me a prisoner of thoughts rather than living this life. And yesterday it was interesting. And what I want to really talk about is the ground. During May and early June, it's been so hot and the ground had become so hard. And I'd done some digging in May and early June, but you had to stand on the fork with 2 feet to try and just get leverage in the ground so you could then turn it over. And instead of digging about so much, it was just slithers of ground that I would do because it was too hard. It was too hard to cultivate. It was too hard to try and break things down. But yesterday, it was a joy. And the main reason why is that we've had some rain in the last few weeks. And the rain it wasn't one of those, like when it's really hot and then you just have a shower. Well, showers are useless because all it does is just wet the surface. It doesn't penetrate deep inside. It's so often you can have it raining and there'll still be cracks in the ground because of the drought, the dryness. But yesterday it was different. Yesterday we'd had, and the previous day we'd had about 10 hours of just rain. And it's something else I love. I love it, rain. Just it coming down and soaking. And this had really, really soaked. Not to the point where there was puddles everywhere. It had just, you could just tell it had gone through the soil. And it had made it malleable, and it had made it soft. And when I put the fork in, it went in. There was no extra pressure to turn it over. And as ever, the allotment is often an epitome of my life. It's the analogy, the allegory, or whatever. It so often speaks of where I am in my life, and it often speaks to me as a prompt, as stop what you're doing, do this. And the ground, the condition of it yesterday, is a reminder of me just to soak in God's presence. When I'm not in God's presence, so often my life just becomes hard. It becomes solid, that my thoughts are just, they're unbreakable. And if I am to be broken, it's hard. I have to be smashed open. But yesterday the soil was soft and malleable. And that's what comes with when you're in God's presence. There's the story of after Jesus' death on the cross and then his resurrection. One of the first sightings of him was with two people as they walked on a road to a town called Emmaus. And there's a phrase that they say, and it's, didn't our hearts warm when he was with us? And that is for me, when you're in God's presence, you become warm, you become malleable, you become who you are, you melt when you're in God's presence. And yesterday was a reminder to me that stop keeping away from God. Stop letting him break into your life. Stop turning your back on God. Stop thinking that you've got your life sorted and you don't need God. Those are the tracks that I have been following of late. And yesterday it was a reminder just to stop and just soak in God and let him work his reign, his goodness into my life so I can live again.